What if I told you that in exactly 10 years, you could be completely free from ever having to work again? Not through winning the lottery, but by following a mathematical formula that anyone can apply. In this video, I'm breaking down the exact difference between people who work until they die and those who retire wealthy. After analyzing thousands of financial journeys, I discovered just 5 key decisions that separate these two paths. The best part, the first decision takes less than 15 minutes to make. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what steps to take on your journey toward financial freedom. 2 paths, 2 futures. Meet your possible selves. Imagine waking up 10 years from now. In one reality, you're groggily slapping the snooze button for the 3rd time, dreading another Monday at a job you still tolerate just to pay the bills. In another reality, you're naturally waking up without an alarm, excited about whether you'll spend the day working on that passion project or maybe taking an impromptu trip to the beach. Let me introduce you to the 2 versions of your possible future self. First, meet the forever worker. This person makes what seems like reasonable financial choices. They have a decent job, contribute the minimum to get their employer 401k match, and try to save what's left at the end of each month, which isn't much. They follow conventional advice, work hard, climb the corporate ladder, and hopefully retire comfortably someday. Now meet the millionaire next door. They started at the exact same salary and circumstances as the forever worker. Same student loans, same rent payments, same starting salary. But this version of you makes slightly different choices each day that compound dramatically over time. Picture this as a split screen of 2 identical lives. Both start with the same $60,000 salary. The forever worker gets the standard 3% annual raise, eventually reaching about $80,000 after 10 years. Meanwhile, the millionaire next door leverages additional income streams and investments to effectively double their income within that same time frame, not by working twice as hard, but by making their money work harder. The gap between these futures starts small, maybe just a few $1,000s in year 1. But by year 5, the millionaire has already built multiple income streams, while the forever worker still depends entirely on their paycheck. By year 10, we're talking about a difference of hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've seen this play out countless times. 2 people starting with identical opportunities whose financial trajectories completely diverge based on seemingly small daily decisions. These choices, while individually modest, create compound effects that ultimately determine whether you'll work because you need to or because you want to. What's fascinating is that the forever worker follows what most people consider good financial advice. They contribute to retirement, avoid excessive debt, and try to live within their means. They do everything their parents and conventional wisdom told them to do. The millionaire makes choices that sometimes seem counterintuitive. They might drive an older car while their income grows. They might live in a modest home even after their net worth crosses into 6 figures. They make financial decisions that occasionally raise eyebrows among friends and family who don't understand the long game they're playing. This isn't about luck or privilege. Both versions face the exact same external circumstances: job uncertainty, unexpected medical bills, market fluctuations, inflation challenges, and life surprises. The difference is in how they respond. So what creates this massive divergence between these 2 paths? It comes down to 5 key decision points. The first split happens with how they handle cash flow. The forever worker spends first and saves whatever's left over. The millionaire reverses this completely, saving and investing automatically first, then spending what remains. The second split occurs in their relationship with debt. The forever worker views some debt as normal, slowly paying off student loans and carrying revolving credit card balances. The millionaire treats most debt like a financial emergency, while strategically using low-interest debt as leverage. The third split is in their income strategy. The forever worker focuses solely on linear income, trading hours for dollars. The millionaire builds multiple income streams, some growing exponentially rather than linearly, generating money whether they're working or not. The fourth split happens in their investment approach. The forever worker either invests too conservatively out of fear or too aggressively out of excitement, often reacting emotionally to market conditions. The millionaire follows a consistent, evidence-based strategy, actually accelerating investments during downturns. The fifth split is about consumption habits. The forever worker succumbs to lifestyle inflation, automatically increasing spending as income rises. The millionaire strategically chooses which expenses actually increase happiness, while avoiding the consumer treadmill. These paths don't require vastly different incomes. What separates millionaires from people who work forever isn't necessarily how much they earn. It's the specific habits and mathematical formulas they follow with the money they do earn. The forever worker lacks clarity on exactly how much they need to break free from mandatory work. The millionaire has calculated their freedom number, the specific amount needed to generate enough passive income to cover expenses indefinitely. The forever worker gets frustrated when progress feels slow, often abandoning good habits when they don't see immediate results. The millionaire understands that wealth building follows a hockey stick curve, seeming painfully slow at first before compounding creates exponential growth. Their daily lives differ even during the wealth building phase. The forever worker lives in constant financial stress, worried about unexpected expenses. The millionaire builds systems creating financial peace of mind, with sufficient emergency funds and clear spending guidelines. Most importantly, the forever worker views frugality as deprivation, focusing on what they can't have. The millionaire views intentional spending as optimization, focusing on maximizing happiness per dollar spent. These wealth builders are all around us, often living in modest homes, driving reliable but unflashy cars, and quietly amassing significant wealth while neighbors with similar incomes struggle paycheck to paycheck. Throughout the rest of this video, I'll break down the exact formulas, systems, and habits that separate these two paths. The difference isn't about making more money. It's about making fundamentally different decisions with the money you already have. Analysis phase, the brutal truth about your financial starting point. Before you can make those fundamentally different decisions with your money, you need something most people actively avoid: a crystal clear picture of your current financial situation. Did you know the average millionaire can tell you their exact net worth down to the dollar, while most people can't even name all their subscription services? This financial blind spot is costing you thousands, like driving a car with the dashboard covered up. You have no idea how fast you're going or when you're running out of gas. Let me introduce you to the analysis phase of the ADDI model, the critical first step professionals use to solve complex problems, and the exact step nearly everyone skips when trying to build wealth. Why? Because looking at our financial reality can be downright uncomfortable. I recently worked with a client who thought she was doing okay financially until she finally calculated her net worth and discovered $43,000 in credit card debt across 6 different cards. She'd been making minimum payments for years without realizing she was actually falling further behind each month. That single calculation saved her thousands in interest and completely changed her spending habits. Think about it. When was the last time you sat down and added up all your debt? Or calculated exactly how much you're spending on food delivery and random Amazon purchases? Most people would rather get a root canal than face these numbers. The forever worker avoids this financial reality check like the plague. They scroll past their bank notifications, leave bills unopened until the last minute, and never calculate their complete financial picture. It's not just about being disorganized. It's about the shame and anxiety that comes with confronting the truth. I'll look at my finances when I get that raise, they tell themselves. Or things will be better after tax season. But that day never comes, and years pass with no real progress. Ready to break that cycle? Let's start with the most powerful number you should know: your net worth. This isn't some complex financial metric. It's simply everything you own minus everything you owe. Here's how to calculate it. First, add up all your assets: your checking and savings accounts, investment accounts, the current value of your car, your home equity if you own property, and any other significant items of value. Be realistic here. Your 3-year-old laptop is not worth what you paid for it. Next, add up all your liabilities: credit card debt, student loans, car loans, mortgage balance, medical debt, personal loans, and any other money you owe. Yes, even that money you borrowed from your parents counts. Subtract your liabilities from your assets, and voila, you have your net worth. This single number tells you more about your financial health than any other metric. And don't worry if it's negative right now. Many people start their wealth-building journey in the red. Now let's analyze your spending patterns using the 50/30/20 rule. This framework suggests allocating 50% of your income to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings and debt repayment. Pull up your last 3 months of bank and credit card statements and categorize every expense. Needs include housing, utilities, groceries, transportation to work, minimum debt payments, and basic health care. Wants include dining out, entertainment subscriptions, vacations, shopping, and anything that makes life more enjoyable but isn't essential. Savings and debt repayment include emergency fund contributions, retirement account contributions, and extra payments toward debt. How does your actual spending compare to this ideal breakdown? Most forever workers are shocked to find they're spending 70% or more on needs, 40% on wants. Yes, that adds up to over 100%. Hello, credit card debt. And maybe 5% on savings if they're lucky. But here's where it gets really interesting: calculating your true hourly wage. This goes beyond your salary to reveal what you're actually earning per hour of life energy spent. Take your annual salary and subtract all work-related expenses: commuting costs, professional wardrobe, lunches out with colleagues, childcare needed during work hours. Now divide by the actual hours you devote to your job, including commute time, preparation time, and recovery time. For example, if you earn $60,000 a year but spend $8,000 on work-related expenses, your real income is $52,000. If you spend 50 hours a week on work, including commuting and unwinding, and work 50 weeks a year, that's 2,500 hours annually. Your true hourly wage? Just $20.80, likely much less than what you thought. This calculation completely changes how you view expenses. That $100 dinner out costs nearly 5 hours of your life. Is it worth it? Maybe yes, maybe no. But now you can make that decision with clarity. The Millionaire Next Door uses these exact analyses to make completely emotionless decisions about money. They don't ask, "Can I afford this?" They ask, "Is this worth the life energy it will cost me? And will this purchase bring me closer to financial independence or push it further away?" They might choose to spend lavishly in one category that brings them tremendous joy while being incredibly frugal in areas they don't care about. One millionaire I know drives a 15-year-old Honda but takes first-class flights on vacation because after analyzing his spending, he realized cars don't bring him joy, but comfortable travel does. Tools like Empower and NerdWallet's retirement calculator can help you track your spending and net worth. But honestly, you don't need fancy apps. A simple spreadsheet works just as well. What matters is that you're looking at the real numbers. The most powerful tool at your disposal is what I call the one-page financial snapshot. This single document contains your net worth calculation, your income, your monthly spending by category, your debt balances and interest rates, and your savings rate. Updated monthly, this snapshot becomes your financial dashboard, making it impossible to hide from reality and easy to track progress. This is exactly why the millionaire path diverges from the forever worker path from day one. The millionaire isn't necessarily earning more. They're just crystal clear on what's coming in, what's going out, and where they stand right now. And that clarity leads to dramatically different decisions about spending, saving, and investing. Design phase, calculating your magic freedom number. Now that you have clarity about your financial situation, it's time to unlock the most powerful calculation on your journey to freedom. That crystal clear picture of your finances isn't just about tracking today's dollars. It's about determining exactly how much money you need to never work again. Most people think they need massive fortunes, $5 million, $10 million, to escape the work treadmill. But here's the game-changing truth. Your personal magic freedom number is likely far lower than you imagine, and I'm going to show you exactly how to calculate it. Welcome to the design phase of our ADDI framework. This is where we create the blueprint for your financial independence based on your specific situation. Think of it as drawing up the architectural plans for your dream house. Except this house is your financial future, and the foundation is one specific number. The stark difference between our two characters is eye-opening. The forever worker sets vague, emotional goals like, "I want to be rich," or "I just need a lot of money." When asked how much they need to retire, they'll say as much as possible, or a couple million would be nice. With no finish line in sight, they have no idea if they're on track. Meanwhile, the millionaire next door has calculated their exact magic freedom number down to the dollar. They know precisely how much they need to never work again. This clarity gives them a concrete target to aim for and the ability to measure progress along the way. So how do we calculate this life-changing number? Enter the 25x rule. This mathematical formula states that you need to save 25 times your expected annual expenses to achieve complete financial independence. Annual expenses multiplied by 25 equals your magic freedom number. Let's look at some real examples. Say you've determined your annual expenses are $60,000. Using the 25x rule, your magic freedom number would be $1,500,000. If you live more modestly with annual expenses of $40,000, you'd need just $1 million to reach your freedom point. Conversely, a more luxurious lifestyle with $100,000 in annual expenses requires $2,500,000. The 25x rule is based on the 4% safe withdrawal rate. Financial research indicates that you can withdraw 4% of your portfolio annually with minimal risk of running out of money over a 30-year retirement period. This rule has been tested against historical market performance, including major downturns like the Great Recession. Here's how it works in practice. With a $1,500,000 portfolio, the 4% rule means you can withdraw $60,000 in your first year, adjusting for inflation in subsequent years. Even in the face of market crashes, this approach has historically proven resilient. Retirees who began withdrawing their 4% during major market downturns still sustain their withdrawals for decades, thanks to diversified portfolios. The beauty of this system is its flexibility. Your magic freedom number is deeply personal and adjustable based on your specific circumstances. If you anticipate higher healthcare costs as you age, you might plan for a lower withdrawal rate of 3.5%. which increases your freedom number to about 29 times your annual expenses instead of 25. Here's where things get fascinating. The most powerful way to reduce your magic freedom number is spending less. Let's take Jane, a marketing manager spending $60,000 annually with a freedom number of $1.5 million. After analyzing her expenses, Jane discovers she's spending $400 monthly on subscription services she rarely uses, $500 monthly on restaurant meals that don't bring much joy, and another $600 on unnecessary shopping. By eliminating these expenses, she reduces her annual spending by $18,000 to $42,000, dropping her freedom number by $450,000 to just over $1 million. Even better, by redirecting those savings into investments, she increases her savings rate from 15% to 30%, creating a double acceleration effect that could slash a decade off her journey to financial independence. This expense reduction strategy doesn't mean living like a monk. It's about being intentional with your spending and focusing your money on what truly brings you joy. The Millionaire Next Door has eliminated expenses that don't meaningfully contribute to their happiness. Let's bust another myth. You don't need to replace 100% of your working income in retirement. When you're working, part of your income goes toward retirement savings, work-related expenses, and possibly supporting children who will eventually be independent. In retirement, many of these expenses disappear, which is why many experts suggest you'll need closer to 70 to 80% of your working income. This calculation shifts your focus from income to expenses. While forever workers obsess over squeezing out more income, often sacrificing time and well-being, the Millionaire Next Door realizes that controlling expenses provides a double benefit. Lower annual costs mean both a lower freedom number and a higher savings rate. Remember that Fidelity study suggesting people should save 10 times their income by age 67? That aligns perfectly with our 25x rule, reinforcing the importance of building a portfolio that's a substantial multiple of your annual expenses. Reaching your magic freedom number doesn't mean you must quit working. Many financially independent people continue working because they enjoy it, but with one crucial difference. They work because they want to, not because they have to. That psychological shift is powerful. The most shocking revelation for many is that their magic freedom number is often millions less than they imagined. By focusing on actual expenses rather than arbitrary income goals, you might discover that financial freedom is much closer than you thought. Development Phase Part 1. Building your investment engine. Mathematical principles don't just help you calculate your target. They're also the secret to building wealth while you sleep. Millionaires aren't just saving more money than everyone else. They're putting their dollars in completely different places, using account types that multiply their money through what amounts to free government subsidies and employer matching contributions. This is where we enter the development phase of our ADDI model, the part where we actually build the wealth-generating machine that will carry you to your freedom number. Let's talk about something that separates the forever worker from the millionaire next door, where they keep their money. The forever worker typically has a checking account for bills and a savings account earning a measly 0.1% interest. Maybe they have a 401k because HR signed them up automatically, but they rarely maximize it. Meanwhile, the millionaire next door has constructed a portfolio of tax-advantaged accounts that essentially give them free money year after year. Think of these tax-advantaged accounts as building blocks for your financial fortress. Each block serves a specific purpose, and together they create an impenetrable structure that shields your wealth from taxes and accelerates growth. Without all the blocks in place, your fortress remains vulnerable to tax erosion and missed growth opportunities. Before diving into specifics, here's a quick overview of the most powerful tax-advantaged accounts in your arsenal. A 401k reduces your current taxable income with potential employer matching. IRAs, traditional and Roth, offers either upfront tax breaks or tax-free growth. HSA provides a triple tax advantage for healthcare and retirement. Let's break down these wealth-building vehicles one by one. The 401k is the cornerstone of retirement planning that many forever workers underutilize. In 2024, you can contribute up to $23,000 if you're under 50, or $30,500 if you're 50 or older with catch-up contributions. Every dollar you contribute reduces your taxable income. If you make $60,000 and contribute $10,000, you're only taxed on $50,000, like getting a 22% discount on your investments. Plus, employer matching gives you an instant return before your money even touches the market. Next are individual retirement accounts, traditional and Roth IRAs. For 2024, you can contribute up to $7,000 to these accounts, $8,000 if you're 50 plus. Traditional IRAs may provide tax deductions now, while Roth IRAs flip the script. You pay taxes on contributions, but future withdrawals are completely tax-free. Imagine investing $7,000 today, watching it grow to $70,000 over decades, and withdrawing it all without paying taxes. The forever worker misses this opportunity by focusing on immediate gratification rather than long-term tax strategy. Then we have the health savings account, or HSA, perhaps the most overlooked tax advantage vehicle. If you have a high-deductible health plan, you can contribute $3,850 for individuals or $7,750 for families in 2024, with an additional $1,000 catch-up contribution if you're 55 or older. HSAs offer a triple tax advantage: tax-deductible contributions, tax-free growth, and tax-free withdrawals for medical expenses. After 65, you can withdraw for any purpose, though non-medical withdrawals are taxed like income. The Millionaire Next Door follows a strategic sequence for filling these accounts. 1. Contribute enough to your 401k to get the full employer match. Never leave free money on the table. 2. Max out your HSA if eligible. That triple tax advantage is unbeatable. 3. Contribute to a Roth IRA if under income limits, or traditional IRA. 4. Return to your 401k and contribute up to the annual limit. 5. Consider taxable brokerage accounts only after maxing tax-advantaged options. Meanwhile, the forever worker keeps excess cash in low-interest savings accounts while inflation steadily erodes its value. They might contribute just enough to get a partial 401k match, leaving thousands in potential tax savings on the table every year. Let's put some numbers to this. Imagine two people each saving $20,000 annually. The forever worker puts $6,000 in their 401k for a partial match and keeps $14,000 in savings. The Millionaire Next Door maximizes tax advantages with $19,500 in their 401k and $500 in an HSA. After 20 years at 7% returns, the forever worker has about $380,000, while the Millionaire Next Door accumulates over $820,000, more than double. This doesn't even count the tax savings along the way, which could add another $100,000 plus to the difference. What makes these accounts so powerful is how they supercharge compound interest. When your money grows tax-free, there's no annual drag from capital gains or dividend taxes. Every dollar keeps working for you, creating exponential growth that dramatically outpaces taxable investments. But what about accessibility? The forever worker often avoids retirement accounts because I can't touch that money until I'm old. Actually, there are several ways to access retirement funds early without penalties. Roth IRA contributions can be withdrawn anytime without penalties, and strategies like Rule 72T, distributions or Roth conversion ladders can provide early access to other retirement funds when properly designed. Contribution limits aren't suggestions, they're opportunities. When the government says you can put $23,000 in your 401k, they're letting you shelter that much money from taxes. The Millionaire Next Door sees these limits as annual challenges to reorganize their finances. Few people can immediately max out all these accounts. That's why the Millionaire Next Door gradually increases contributions, often timing them with raises and bonuses to minimize lifestyle impact. Each year, they aim to increase their contribution percentage until their maximum. Development Phase Part 2, Asset Allocation Secrets. While maximizing tax-advantaged accounts is half the battle, what you actually buy inside those accounts can make or break your early retirement dreams. Ever notice how some people investing the same amount as you seem to grow their wealth twice as fast? That's not luck or insider knowledge. It's smart asset allocation. And I'm about to show you exactly how the Millionaire Next Door approaches this critical wealth-building step. Let's get real about what happens inside those accounts you've set up. The forever worker tends to jump from one hot stock tip to another, chasing whatever's trending on social media or mentioned by that coworker who swears they've found the next Amazon. They buy high when everyone's excited and sell low when panic sets in. Meanwhile, the Millionaire Next Door takes a completely different approach. They use a proven strategy that Wall Street doesn't want you to know about: low-cost index funds. Index funds are investment packages that automatically track specific groups of stocks. For example, an S&P 500 index fund simply owns small pieces of the 500 largest American companies. When you buy that index fund, you instantly own tiny slices of Apple, Microsoft, Google, and hundreds more, all in one simple purchase. Here's what makes index funds so powerful. They consistently beat the performance of fancy, actively managed funds run by experts who charge hefty fees. Over the long term, about 90% of these professional stock pickers fail to outperform simple index funds. It's like paying for a premium service that delivers worse results. The secret is in their incredibly low costs. While actively managed funds might charge 1 to 2% of your money every year in fees, index funds often charge less than 0.1%. That difference can add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars over your investing lifetime. This cost advantage pairs perfectly with diversification, another key benefit. When you own an index fund tracking hundreds of companies, you're protected from the failure of any single business. That's why the Millionaire Next Door sleeps soundly during market downturns, while the forever worker worries about their concentrated positions in a handful of stocks. Consider the real impact of this approach. If you had simply invested $10,000 in an S&P 500 index fund in 2010 and never touched it, despite going through several market corrections and even a pandemic, you'd have over $45,000 by 2022. Meanwhile, studies show the average active trader barely keeps pace with inflation due to timing mistakes and trading costs. Many millionaires in the making use what's called a 3-fund portfolio. This simple approach involves just 3 core index funds. 1. A total U.S. stock market index fund, covering all American companies. 2. A total international stock market index fund, covering companies from around the world. 3. A total bond market index fund, for more stable, income-generating investments. With just these 3 funds, you can build a perfectly diversified portfolio that captures worldwide economic growth while managing risk. No need for complicated investments or constant trading. Your exact mix of these 3 funds will depend on your age and risk tolerance. A common rule of thumb is to subtract your age from 110, and that's roughly the percentage you might want in stocks versus bonds. So if you're 30, you might have about 80% in stocks, split between US and international, and 20% in bonds. Once you've established this solid foundation, maintaining it becomes the next critical step. This is where rebalancing comes in, a powerful yet simple technique the Millionaire Next Door uses religiously. Say you decide on a 70% stocks, 30% bonds split. After a year where stocks perform really well, your portfolio might drift to 80% stocks and 20% bonds. Rebalancing means selling some stocks and buying some bonds to get back to your original 70/30 mix. This forces you to sell high and buy low automatically, exactly what successful investing requires. What kind of returns can you expect from this index fund approach? The S&P 500 has delivered average annual returns of about 11.3% from 1970 through 2021. That's enough to double your money roughly every 6 to 7 years. Of course, that includes some terrible years and some amazing years, but that's the long-term average that patient investors have enjoyed. Research shows the average investor earns about 3 to 4% less per year than the funds they invest in, due to poor timing decisions. That dramatically reduces wealth over time. For most people under 40, your savings rate is actually more important than your investment returns. If you're 25 with $10,000 invested, even an amazing 20% return only gives you $2,000 that year. But if you can save and invest an additional $10,000, you've instantly grown your portfolio by 100%. This is why the Millionaire Next Door focuses so much on maximizing their savings rate in the early years. They know that as their portfolio grows larger, investment returns will eventually become the primary driver of wealth growth. The buy and hold strategy sounds simple, but it's psychologically challenging. During market crashes, it takes incredible discipline to stick to your plan. The Millionaire Next Door succeeds because they're prepared for these downturns. They expect them as a normal part of investing and even view them as opportunities to buy more shares at discount prices. People who use online tools to track their investments and automate their contributions tend to be much more engaged in their financial future. They consistently outperform, not because they're picking better investments, but because they're sticking to proven principles and avoiding costly emotional mistakes. Development Phase Part 3, Building Passive Income Streams. Those automated tools don't just track your wealth, they help build it. But what if your money could work even harder than you do? There's a crucial difference between the forever worker who depends on a paycheck and the millionaire next door who wakes up to find money deposited in their account without lifting a finger. While the forever worker exchanges their precious time for money, the millionaire creates income-generating assets that work around the clock. Think about it. There are only so many hours you can work in a day, which puts a hard ceiling on how much you can earn. But passive income operates like a fountain that flows continuously, whether you're watching it or not. Let's talk about dividend stocks, one of my favorite passive income strategies. When you own shares of dividend-paying companies, they send you money regularly just for being a shareholder. The best part, the more shares you own, the bigger your payout. It's like having tiny employees working for you 24/7, sending their earnings straight to your bank account. Imagine owning 1,000 shares of a company that pays a $2 annual dividend. That's $2,000 per year coming your way automatically. And it gets even better. Many strong dividend companies increase their payouts every year. So that $2,000 might become $2,200 next year, then $2,400 the year after. Your income grows while you sleep. The forever worker might say, "That sounds nice, but I need a lot of money to make dividends worthwhile." Meanwhile, the millionaire next door understands that starting small and consistently adding to their dividend portfolio creates a snowball effect that eventually becomes an avalanche of passive income. What about real estate? Do you need to deal with 3 a.m. toilet emergencies to profit from property? Absolutely not. Real estate investment trusts, or REITs, let you invest in real estate without the headaches of property management. REITs own income-producing properties. Everything from apartment buildings to shopping malls to data centers. When you buy shares, you become a partial owner of all those properties. Here's the beautiful part. REITs must distribute at least 90% of their taxable income to shareholders as dividends. This requirement typically results in higher dividend yields than many stocks offer. The forever worker might worry about real estate market crashes, but the millionaire next door understands that REITs offer something direct property ownership doesn't: instant diversification and liquidity. Your investment could include hundreds of properties across different regions and sectors, spreading your risk. And if you need cash, you can sell your REIT shares instantly, unlike a rental property that might take months to sell. Of course, traditional rental properties still have their place in a passive income portfolio. They can generate substantial monthly cash flow when managed properly. The key is calculating all expenses, mortgage, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and vacancies, to ensure the rent more than covers your costs. The forever worker often makes the mistake of only comparing the mortgage payment to the rent, missing all those other expenses. The Millionaire Next Door runs the numbers thoroughly and builds in significant padding for unexpected costs. For those who find traditional properties too hands-on, crowdfunded real estate platforms create a middle ground. These allow you to invest in specific projects with minimums, often starting around $5,000. You get real estate benefits without property management headaches. Passive income isn't limited to investing in assets others create. You can build your own income-generating assets through automated business models. Creating an online course about something you're knowledgeable about requires upfront work. But once completed, people can purchase it while you're sleeping or relaxing on a beach. The forever worker might think, I don't have any special knowledge worth sharing. The Millionaire Next Door recognizes that everyone has valuable expertise in something, whether it's playing guitar, creating, Excel spreadsheets, organizing homes, or speaking a second language. Ebooks work similarly. Write once, sell repeatedly with almost zero ongoing costs. Digital products offer incredible profit margins because there's virtually no cost to deliver the product to each additional customer. Another fascinating avenue is peer-to-peer lending. Online platforms allow you to become the bank, lending your money to borrowers and collecting interest payments. While traditional savings accounts might pay 0.5% interest, peer-to-peer lending can yield 5 to 9% or higher, depending on your risk tolerance. Now, the true power lies in reinvesting your passive income. When these regular payments start flowing in, you face a choice. Spend them or reinvest them to create even more income streams. Consider this example. Starting with $10,000 in dividend investments yielding 4% annually gives you $400 the first year. Reinvest that and add $500 monthly while dividends grow at 5% annually. And after 10 years, you'd have over $87,000 generating nearly $3,500 annually. Continue for another decade, and your passive income could completely replace a modest salary. Real people achieve this every day. Many who save 50 to 70% of their income and systematically invest in index funds and real estate build enough passive income within a decade to replace their salary, giving them the option to retire early or work on their own terms. The timeline varies, but individuals often achieve substantial income replacement within 5 to 10 years through consistent investing. The key factor isn't some secret strategy. It's your savings rate and consistency. The forever worker remains trapped exchanging time for money until traditional retirement age. The Millionaire Next Door escapes by building multiple streams of passive income that provide true financial freedom. The ability to decide how to spend each day based on passion, not financial necessity. Implementation phase, daily habits of wealth builders. Financial freedom isn't just built through smart investments. It's actually created through the tiny decisions you make each morning, afternoon, and evening. What separates the Millionaire Next Door from the forever worker isn't just their investment portfolio, but rather their daily money habits that silently determine their financial destiny. Now that we've set up your investment vehicles and filled them with the right mix of assets, it's time for the implementation phase, turning your wealth-building plan into consistent daily actions. This is where most people struggle the most. Picture this. The forever worker's alarm blares. They hit snooze twice, then frantically scroll through work emails while still in bed. They rush out the door, grabbing an overpriced coffee because there's no time to brew at home. Their credit card comes out 3 more times before lunch. A bagel, a parking fee, and an impulse purchase during a quick errand. Their finances happen to them, not because of them. Meanwhile, the Millionaire Next Door wakes up with purpose. Their finances run on autopilot. Money silently moving to investment accounts before they've even brushed their teeth. Their morning coffee might come from their favorite mug at home, not because they're cheap, but because they're intentional. What's fascinating is how millionaires handle daily finances. Many successful wealth builders use what I call the no-budget budget approach. Instead of micromanaging 20 different spending categories, they track broad categories that give flexibility while maintaining awareness of their overall financial health. This works because it acknowledges a fundamental truth about human psychology. We hate complexity. When financial systems become too complicated, we avoid them entirely. The automation systems behind this approach are straightforward. Money automatically flows to investment accounts, emergency funds, and specific savings goals before reaching their checking account. This pay-yourself-first strategy ensures wealth building happens automatically, not as an afterthought with whatever's left at the end of the month. Here's what this looks like. From a $5,000 monthly paycheck, automatic transfers might route $1,000 to a 401k, $500 to a Roth IRA, $300 to a vacation fund, and $200 to an emergency fund. This leaves $3,000 for monthly expenses, with complete clarity about spending limits. No guilt, no complicated spreadsheets, just clarity about what you can spend without derailing your financial progress. Successful wealth builders practice happiness-optimized spending. They focus money on experiences rather than material possessions. Research consistently shows experiences like travel yield greater long-term satisfaction than physical goods. Think about your last big purchase. How long did that excitement last? Now compare it to your last amazing trip or learning experience. Those memories, and the stories you can tell, provide happiness for years. Millionaires often spend more, in certain categories than average people, investing significantly in quality experiences or items that truly enhance their lives, but remain ruthlessly frugal in categories that don't matter to them personally. It's about intentionality, not deprivation. Their approach to tracking financial progress differs dramatically too. While the forever worker obsesses over daily market movements, checking investment apps constantly, and making emotional decisions based on headlines, millionaires track simple metrics like net worth or savings rate quarterly. This long-term perspective helps them stay the course during market volatility instead of making reactionary decisions that harm their wealth. Emotional regulation around money is another powerful habit. The forever worker makes impulsive financial decisions based on feelings. Retail therapy after a bad day, expensive purchases to keep up with friends, or panic-selling investments during market dips. The Millionaire Next Door has systems to prevent emotional spending, like a 48-hour rule on any purchase over $100, giving time to consider whether it aligns with their values. Continuous financial education is crucial, yet often overlooked. Self-made millionaires consistently emphasize financial literacy, which empowers informed decisions about investments and saving strategies. The forever worker often avoids learning about money because it seems complicated or boring, creating a knowledge gap that compounds over time. The solution is simple. Commit to learning something new about money each week through books, podcasts, or reputable online resources. Even handling found money, like tax refunds or work bonuses, reveals different approaches. The forever worker typically splurges with unexpected windfalls, viewing them as free money. The Millionaire Next Door has a system, perhaps allocating 80% to wealth building and 20% to enjoyment, ensuring these opportunities accelerate their financial progress rather than disappearing without impact. Millionaires actively combat complexity aversion by simplifying their financial processes. They consolidate accounts, automate recurring bills, and streamline their financial lives to reduce decision fatigue and encourage consistent participation. The seemingly small daily decisions, allowing lifestyle inflation, emotional spending without awareness, and failing to automate finances, compound dramatically over time, creating a growing gap between financial freedom and perpetual work. What's particularly dangerous is how normal these habits feel when everyone around you follows the same patterns. Breaking them requires intentional choices that might look strange to others, but lead to extraordinary financial results. Risk management, protecting your growing wealth. Making intentional choices might seem strange to others, but what's even stranger is how the wealthiest people among us actually get excited when the market crashes. While everyone else panics, they're calmly executing a plan they prepared years in advance. Think of wealth building like owning a luxury car. You wouldn't drive a Ferrari without insurance, right? Similarly, your financial future needs comprehensive protection against various hazards on the wealth-building highway. Most people completely ignore this protection until they crash, and by then, it's too late. Here's the harsh reality. You could be doing everything right for years, maxing out retirement accounts, building passive income streams, watching your net worth climb, only to have one unexpected crisis wipe out all your progress. A medical emergency, lawsuit, or market crash can devastate your finances if you're not properly protected. Let's look at the major financial risks you need to manage. Personal risks include both income and health threats. Income disruption happens through job loss or business downturns, which is why millionaires develop multiple income streams early. Health risks pack a double punch of medical bills and lost income during recovery. While forever workers might skimp on health insurance to save a few bucks, millionaires understand comprehensive health coverage is absolutely necessary, like having both collision and comprehensive coverage on that luxury car. Asset risks involve both your property and liability exposure. Property risk extends beyond just homeowners insurance to cover all valuable possessions against damage, theft, or destruction. Liability risk becomes increasingly important as your wealth grows, making you a bigger target for lawsuits. Smart wealth builders add umbrella liability insurance once their net worth exceeds $100,000, providing additional protection beyond regular insurance limits. Future risks include both longevity and investment challenges. Longevity risk, the possibility of outliving your savings, requires planning for a retirement that could last 30+ years. Investment risk reveals the biggest difference between the forever worker and millionaire during market downturns. When markets crash 20%, forever workers panic, check accounts hourly, and often sell at the worst time. Meanwhile, millionaires get excited because they're prepared and see buying opportunities, like a savvy car collector who knows when rare models go on sale. Building effective protection starts with your emergency fund. The standard advice is 3 to 6 months of expenses, but your specific situation matters. Multiple income sources and stable employment might need just 3 months, while self-employment or dependents call for 6 to 12 months. Keep this fund accessible, but not too accessible. A high-yield savings account separate from your checking creates just enough friction to prevent impulsive spending. Next, audit your insurance coverage. Beyond health insurance, ensure you have adequate disability insurance to replace income if you can't work, life insurance if you have dependents, property insurance with replacement cost coverage, and umbrella liability as your wealth grows. This comprehensive coverage portfolio costs relatively little compared to the protection it provides, usually just a few $100s annually for millions in additional protection. For investment protection during market volatility, successful wealth builders don't try to time the market. Instead, they prepare by diversifying across asset classes that respond differently to economic conditions. When stocks struggle, bonds or real estate might perform well. They maintain an asset allocation appropriate for their time horizon and risk tolerance, which should change as they age and their wealth grows. The wealthy also keep cash reserves ready to deploy during market dips and use tax loss harvesting during downturns to offset capital gains. They make small, strategic adjustments to their portfolios to minimize losses and capitalize on buying opportunities without abandoning their long-term plan. This comprehensive approach explains why 78% of millionaires could lose half their portfolio value tomorrow and still sleep soundly. They've built systems to handle volatility rather than reacting emotionally to it. Let's compare responses to a typical 30% market drop, which happens roughly once per decade. The forever worker panics, sells investments, moves to cash, locking in losses. 6 months later, when the market has recovered 15%, they're still too scared to reinvest, turning a temporary decline into permanent loss. Meanwhile, the millionaire sees opportunity by confirming their emergency fund covers near-term needs, rebalancing their asset allocation, buying quality investments at discount prices, looking for tax loss harvesting opportunities, and continuing regular investments, getting more shares for the same dollars. They're actually disappointed when the market rebounds quickly because they wanted more time to buy at discount prices. The key difference is preparation. Forever workers react to financial threats after they occur, while millionaires proactively build protection systems before problems arise. The millionaire's risk management checklist. Build multiple income streams to reduce income dependency. Maintain comprehensive insurance coverage appropriate to your wealth level. Keep 3 to 12 months of expenses in an emergency fund based on your situation. Diversify investments across uncorrelated asset classes. Prepare mentally and financially for market downturns. Evaluation review and adjust your protection strategy as your wealth grows. Building systems to manage risk is only half the battle. The other half happens entirely in your head. You could have the perfect financial plan, follow all the right steps, and still fail to reach millionaire status if you haven't mastered the psychological game that separates those who quit from those who become financially independent. The question is, which mental traps are currently blocking your path to wealth? Welcome to the evaluation phase, the most overlooked yet critical component of your financial journey. This is where you'll regularly assess your progress and make psychological adjustments to stay motivated when the going gets tough. Building wealth goes beyond math and money moves. It's about what happens between your ears when the market drops 20% or when your friends are buying fancy cars while you're sticking to your 10-year-old Honda. Meet Sarah, who watched her portfolio drop 30% during the 2020 crash. Her first instinct? Sell everything and run for the hills. But unlike her co-worker who panic sold at the bottom, Sarah remembered her plan. She took a deep breath, closed her investing app, and actually bought more shares at discount prices. 2 years later, her portfolio had doubled while her co-worker was still trying to recover. What made the difference? Psychology. The forever worker abandons ship at the first sign of market turbulence, while the millionaire next door stays the course. This emotional response to market volatility is what experts call loss aversion, where losing money feels twice as painful as gaining the same amount feels good. Why? Our brains aren't wired for long-term investing. They're designed for immediate threats, not decisions that take decades to play out. Your logical brain knows markets recover, but your emotional brain screams danger. What other mental traps might be holding you back? Overconfidence leads many investors to believe they can time the market or pick winning stocks. This results in excessive trading and higher costs, while the disciplined investor who sticks to their plan typically outperforms in the long run. Do you find yourself constantly tweaking your investments based on news headlines? Then there's lifestyle creep, the silent wealth killer. You get a $10,000 raise, and suddenly you're upgrading your apartment and eating at fancier restaurants. Before you know it, your expenses have absorbed your entire raise. The millionaire next door handles this differently. When they receive a raise, they immediately increase their savings rate before upgrading their lifestyle. Some successful wealth builders save 50 to 70% of their income increases. Want to combat lifestyle creep? Try the 24-hour rule for any purchase over $100 and the 1-week rule for purchases over $1,000. This cooling-off period gives your rational brain time to overcome the emotional excitement. Ask yourself, will this purchase meaningfully increase my happiness a month from now? A year from now? Procrastination can severely impact your wealth-building journey too. Many people delay essential financial tasks due to uncertainty or complexity, costing thousands in lost compound interest over time. The solution? Automate important financial decisions and set regular calendar reminders for tasks that can't be automated. The journey to financial independence is a marathon, not a sprint. If you deprive yourself of all joy along the way, you'll burn out fast. The millionaire next door celebrates achievements, but does so thoughtfully. Reached $100,000 in investments? Perhaps $500 to $1,000 towards something meaningful makes sense, rather than blowing $5,000 on a shopping spree. The rest stays invested, continuing to work for your future. Regular financial reviews maintain your psychological edge. Quarterly reviews let you check progress and make minor adjustments. Annual reviews provide opportunity for deeper reflection and larger strategy shifts if needed. During these reviews, don't just track account balances. Assess how you're feeling about your journey. Are you still motivated? Do you need to adjust your strategy to stay engaged? As your net worth grows, you'll experience fascinating psychological shifts. Moving from negative to positive net worth brings a profound sense of possibility. Reaching your first $100,000 comes with a surprising realization. Building the second $100,000 happens much faster. And crossing the halfway point to your freedom number brings new confidence that can power you through the challenging middle stage of wealth building. These psychological shifts aren't all positive. Many experience wealth guilt when their net worth surpasses peers or family members. Others struggle with imposter syndrome, feeling they don't deserve their growing wealth. The millionaire addresses these feelings directly rather than letting them sabotage progress. So what psychological tricks do wealthy people use to stay motivated? During market downturns and other challenges, they focus on buying opportunities rather than losses. They track progress against their personal plan rather than external benchmarks or what others are doing. And they build community support, connecting with like-minded individuals who reinforce good financial habits and provide encouragement during tough times. Remember that self-discipline and resilience grow stronger with use. Each time you stick to your investment plan during a downturn or resist an impulse purchase, you're building the psychological strength that separates the millionaire next door from the forever worker. The most successful wealth builders use techniques like goal setting and visualization to connect with their future self, imagining in detail what financial independence will feel like. They create systems that make good financial choices easier and bad ones harder, like removing saved credit card information from shopping sites or automatically transferring money to investments before it hits their checking account. By understanding these psychological factors that influence your financial behavior, you can design an environment and mindset that supports your long-term goals. This mind over millions approach recognizes that your biggest wealth-building obstacle isn't the market, the economy, or your income. It's the person in the mirror. Your 10-year freedom roadmap, milestones and metrics. Mindset matters, but without concrete targets, you're basically driving cross-country without a GPS. What if I told you the difference between retiring at 40 versus working until 70 often comes down to hitting specific numbers at key ages? The wealth-building journey isn't linear. It actually accelerates dramatically in later years when compound interest kicks into overdrive. Let me share something fascinating. The real secret to financial independence lies in hitting clear milestones at specific points in your journey. After studying thousands of wealth-building pathways, I've identified the exact roadmap that separates those who achieve freedom from those stuck in the forever working trap. Think of this 10-year roadmap as your financial GPS, with specific checkpoints that tell you when to accelerate, when to change lanes, and when you might be veering off course. Let's explore those key age-based targets with real-world context. By age 30, aim to have saved approximately 1x your annual salary. Recent Vanguard data shows the average retirement savings for people in their 30s is about $240,000, but the median is only around $91,000. This massive gap reveals how most Americans are falling significantly behind, while a small percentage of super savers pulls up the average. Take my friend Alex. When he hit this first milestone at 29, it completely transformed his confidence and led him to increase his savings rate by another 5%. The complete milestone roadmap progresses from there. 3x your income by 40, 6x by 50, 8x by 60, and 10x by traditional retirement age, 67. For early financial independence seekers, use the 25x rule. Focus on expenses instead of income. For every $1,000 in monthly expenses, you need approximately $300,000 invested. Year by year, here's what this journey actually looks like. Year 1 is about building momentum. Your initial net worth might increase just $5,000 to $10,000. This is where most people get frustrated and quit. The key isn't how much your net worth grows, but establishing systems that fuel future growth. By year end, automatic savings should be sending at least 15% of your income into investments. By year 3, you should reach your first $50,000 milestone if starting from zero. This might not sound life-changing, but psychologically it's huge. Your investment returns become noticeable, maybe $3,000 to $4,000 annually from market growth. You should also have at least one supplemental income stream generating something monthly, even if it's just a few $100s. Year 5 is where momentum builds. Your net worth should approach $100,000 to $150,000 with consistent saving and average market returns. More importantly, passive income streams should now cover one major expense category. Sarah, who followed this plan precisely, described the psychological breakthrough when her dividend portfolio first covered her entire monthly grocery bill. It was the moment money truly started working for her. Year 10 marks the inflection point where exponential growth becomes obvious. Your investment accounts should grow more than your annual contributions. Following this plan typically results in a $300,000 to $500,000 net worth, with yearly investment growth of $25,000 to $40,000. Passive income should cover 30 to 50% of essential expenses. Life will throw curveballs that threaten to knock you off course. When facing job loss, shift to financial defense mode. Temporarily reduce investments to minimum employer matches, extend your emergency runway, and focus on replacing income within a Specific time frame. The biggest mistake is abandoning investment habits entirely during tough periods. For health challenges, leverage your HSA strategically. If medical costs exceed 15% of your annual income, temporarily reduce investment contributions with a specific catch-up plan to return to your normal investment rate. Market crashes are wealth-building opportunities in disguise. When stocks plummet 30%, view it as a massive sale. Having extra cash reserves pays enormous dividends during these periods. Consider temporarily increasing your investment rate, even by a few percentage points. To stay motivated, track these 3 key indicators. First, your savings rate as a percentage of take-home pay, the single biggest predictor of wealth-building success. Even a 1% increase can shave months off your journey. Second, your freedom ratio, passive income as a percentage of essential expenses. Watching this climb from 5% to 10% to eventually 100% provides concrete evidence of growing freedom. Third, calculate your time to freedom regularly. If expenses are $50,000 annually and you need $1.25 million for financial independence, divide what you still need by your annual savings plus expected investment returns. The journey accelerates dramatically in later years due to compound interest. By year 7 or 8, your money works harder than you do. A portfolio that took 5 years to reach $100,000 might need only 3 years for the next $100,000, and potentially just 2 years for the third $100,000. For someone earning $60,000 aiming for 80% income replacement, that means targeting $48,000 in annual passive income, requiring approximately $1.2 million invested. The milestone progression: $60,000 by 30, $180,000 by 40, $360,000 by 50, and $600,000 by 60. The acceleration keeps this journey exciting. Your first $100,000 might take 4 to 5 years of hard work and sacrifice. But watching your portfolio grow by that same amount in a single good market year later is unbelievably satisfying. So here's the truth: you're standing at a crossroads right now. The research is crystal clear. People who set specific financial goals and create actionable plans are dramatically more likely to achieve financial independence than those who don't. Procrastination and complexity aversion are the psychological barriers preventing most people from taking that crucial first step, which is why 92% will watch this video and do absolutely nothing with it. The concept of mind over millions isn't just catchy. Your psychological approach to money determines your financial future. The simplest solution: set clear goals and automate your savings today. Download our free 10-year freedom calculator and 1-page financial independence roadmap now. Because in 10 years, you'll either be celebrating your financial